Hi guys and welcome back to the BFTV Show, sponsored by Boyle Sports. Hi guys and welcome back to the show. Hope you all had a good week. It was an interesting result of the weekend, but lots of talking points again to talk about on the show. Boys, have you had a good week so far?
I've had a good week. It's been up and down. Weather's been terrible, but not too bad. How about you, James?
The mornings are getting colder, therefore
Yeah.
I'm getting more annoyed of an evening because I'm up at 5 and it was all right a couple of weeks ago, and now it's just really crap. Proper British weather now. We're into British territory. So other than that, I'm okay. Other than trying to deal with a house move, work being stressful, COVID. Throw anything else onto the fire if you want. Going okay. Nothing really.
I mean, that couldn't have been more depressing if you tried. I mean, I'm not going to lie. That was the most...
Ta-da! No, I'll be all right now. Yeah, no, I'm all right, to be fair. Things are going well for Blues, so that's really what brings my mood up and down in the week. You know what I mean? I'll moan about everything else, but really, it all pins on Blues. If they do well, I'll be all right for the rest of the week.
So I wonder how depressed you're going to be if we actually do lose a game.
You've seen me. I've stormed out of rooms. I've stormed out the ground before.
I could never do that.
No, M wasn't there. I'll tell you what, right? Little throwback story for everyone before we get into the show. So Blues fans might remember Blues play under Gary Rowett 15-16 season. Blues were on a decent run. We'd started the season quite well. It was in the season where we had the strip, the sash across, and
the 150 year was that the 150 anniversary was 140, was it?
Yeah, 150 is in a couple of years. Weird. 140 was a weird year. Anyway, we'd started pretty well, and then Donaldson got injured. And we had to start playing Brock Madsen up front because we had no other striker. And we were being a bit sort of we'd lost any bite up front, and we played Huddersfield at home. And I swear to God, I've not been to watch many more frustrating, not bad, but frustrating games where Huddersfield scored in the first 2 minutes. Then for like 70 or 80 minutes, we created about 15 chances because we had Brock Madsen up front, couldn't score a goal. And then Naki Wells scores in the 85th minute on a counter-attack. And I swear I lost it. I stood up. I threw my gloves down, like rose in front of me. I just walked out of the ground. Everyone, like my family just watched me walk out the ground. Like, so annoyed that day.
So you turned into a 12-year-old child?
I proper threw a childish strop, yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I was like an 18, 19-year-old lad and I just stropped like that. I think I'd had a couple of beers that day, so it's probably
embarrassing.
Embarrassing behaviour from me.
Luckily, you didn't get a stadium ban, James. I think you were quite close there, throwing the gloves. Did you hit anyone?
You know what K2 are like. It could have ended in disaster. I could have been given a 3-year ban for that. But no, proper stropped. And then, to be fair, my dad was like, he caught up with me a bit later on. He was like, "What the hell was that?" I was like, "Just Blues, isn't it? Just frustrating." So that's how I can get if we lose a game. But I've learned to control that over the last couple of years.
Yeah, all right. All right, then.
A little bit.
Talking about you probably not being able to control anything, you couldn't control the result of the weekend, a 1-1 draw to Rotherham. Not particularly what we expected. I did see some Rotherham fans online saying, "Don't think it's fair that Blues fans are saying we should be beating teams like Rotherham. We should be beating teams like Rotherham, really. No offence, just because they've just been promoted. That's the sort of general consensus, is you should be beating recently promoted teams." But Karanka changed the system, which I think was a bit of a surprise to most people. We went 2 up front with Juki and Hogan. Boys, what did we think about that?
I think the fact he didn't listen to our formation, our lineups, really was the reason why we didn't win. It was really a nightmare of last season, really. Once I saw the lineup, it was concerning. I didn't have much hope before the game, if I'm honest, as soon as I saw the lineup. It wasn't great.
It wasn't a spectacle of a game, was it? It's not one where you're going to look back over the next couple of years and go, God, do you remember that game where we played Rotherham at home in lockdown? And I don't think anybody had a real shot on target for 80 minutes. Yeah, it was one of them games, really, wasn't it? I'm with Corey. I was a bit perplexed at his decision to go 2 up front. He's notorious, for never, ever, ever changing his system from a 4-2-3-1, like ever. Doesn't matter how many striking options he had at Middlesbrough or Forest, he never changed to 2 up front. And then after 3 games, he's gone to 2 up front with Blues. I can understand he kind of maybe felt that it was a game where we had more sort of going forward. We could probably attack Rotherham a little bit more and get at them. But I think to change the system, we lost a little bit of our rhythm that we built up over the last couple of games. So I think personally for me, that may have been our Achilles heel as to why we probably didn't threaten as much as we'd have liked on Saturday.
I think for me, the one hopeful was we didn't have Montero on the bench. Luckily, we haven't got Montero this season. I wasn't expecting a 10-minute run from Montero in the corner. That was the one positive, really, for me. Like you say, we made Wes Harding look good. A few weeks ago, I was slating Wes Harding, and he's actually probably the man of the match, really. But especially for Rotherham.
Yeah, I think so.
He did have a good game, didn't he, really, thinking about it. I didn't really look too much on the Rotherham side of things, but you look back at the highlights, he did do well. He kept Bella quiet, didn't he, for large parts. So, fair play to Wes. Nobody's got anything bad to say about Wes, really, in terms of great kid, great character, just probably wasn't good enough to get into the team. So, good on him. Good on him. He could have let us win, but good on him anyway.
I think we were a bit flat, really, weren't we, for about 60 minutes. That we didn't have any bites. There was nothing to our game, really. Rotherham were able to almost play their game slightly. But I don't know whether Cranker has got my tweet notifications turned on or something.
Definitely hasn't.
But I may or may not have tweeted about Jon Toral coming on the pitch. And as soon as I did, Jon Toral came on the pitch and he did change the game. Let's be honest. Toral was the attacking threat that we needed in that game. We switched the system slightly. We were more on top of the game. And how important do you think Toral is going to be to us this season?
Yeah, massive. It's almost like he's an incredibly talented footballer that for years was touted for big things, and obviously injuries have kept him from that. Jon Toral, I'm surprised didn't start for the first 2 games of the season. He's been fantastic. At Swansea and against Brentford, he was central to a lot of good things that we did, and that's probably what surprised me the most as to why he changed the system, because he's got 2, really attacking and creative and intelligent players in Crowley and Toral who can play that 10, and he decided to take that out. And I think we almost played to Rotherham's tune a little bit, playing a bit more direct and a bit more physical with the 2 strikers. I think we played into their hands a little bit, and was a bit, like I say, I think we were all a bit disappointed when we saw the lineup to go 2 up front and no 10. And then when he brought Toral on, I thought we really seized the game and looked a threat.
I think for me, what concerns me is obviously after that lineup, where does this put Crowley? I would imagine if any formation was going to change, it would involve Crowley. Clearly not after the weekend. I'm unsure where his opportunities are going to come this season. Clearly, 4-4-2 didn't work the weekend. Will he try it again? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well, actually. I mean, Dan Crowley was one of the more bright shining lights last season. That's a tongue twister, if you want to say that quickly. But this season, we haven't seen anything of him, really. Toral just seems to be like Crowley, but a lot better, as in a bit more ability, a lot more strength, less predictable, stronger on the ball. So I think that's more Cranker's style of player. I don't think he likes... Crowley is quite a weak player, really. He's very talented, very intricate play, but very easily knocked off the ball and got a temper. And I don't think that's Karanka's style of play so much. So as disappointing as that is for us, because we know how good Crowley can be, I think he's going to pick Toral every time.
I'll throw a curveball in there and say that I just think that he just hasn't been given his opportunity yet. But that's not to say he's not in his plans. Like Gary Gardner, for example. We'll get onto it in a bit in terms of the rumour link. But
he may not be in his plans by the look of things.
Well, yeah, but everybody was saying about how good Gaz Guards was last year in terms of being one of our best players, if not the best especially after lockdown. I thought he was our best player. And he's not started a game. He's only played sort of 20, 30 minutes off the bench in a couple of games. But that doesn't mean, like Karanka said all along, he needs a squad. He needs 2 players in every single position. Crowley will get his chance. He'll get his chance in certain games. Like I say, I was surprised. I thought he might have gone for Crowley in this game. Like I say, if he was going to take Toral out, I did expect him to bring Crowley in. But he didn't. But that will change. There will be games where we're going to need him. There's going to be games where we pen teams in a lot more than we did against Rotherham. And Crowley's that type of player you want. So give him time. He's still only 20. He's just turned 23. So he's still a young-ish player as well. He's still developing. I think this is his big season. Like I say, it's his make or break season, I think, personally. He either makes it this season or he turns 24 in the summer and he becomes sort of a middle-aged, like in terms of football ages, he becomes middle of the road sort of where he's not progressing and he'll probably start sliding down. So he's got to make it or break it this season. So I can't see him going anywhere in the short term.
No, I don't think he'll go anywhere. I just think he's probably second string compared to Toral.
Possibly. I think Toral would be the starter at the minute.
Absolutely. It will take a blinder of an opportunity for Crowley to replace Jon Toral, I think, in Karanka's plans. But let's talk about other standout performers, because obviously I thought Toral was the standout performer, seeing as he changed the game for me. Who did you both think were the other standout performers in the game, if there were any?
I think for me, again, we spoke last week, a team full of Ivans. Ivan Sanchez, I think he made the Championship Team of the Month. This, obviously, it was today or this week. He's been really impressive. I think he's blew us all out of the water, really, how great he's been. We spoke about Crowley, about how weak on the ball he can be sometimes. Sanchez, completely opposite. He actually wins his fouls. He's getting on the ball quite a lot. I think the players got confidence in. I think him and Colin got a brilliant relationship. And I think he'll have a really good season.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Colin, Sanchez link up. I think they look really good together. I think they've shown already that there's a ridiculously good understanding there of whenever Sanchez is going to come in on his left, Colin's going to go on the outside with his right. And it's causing serious overloads down other teams' left-hand side. And I've seen a lot of people obviously saying he's what Hotter, they wanted Hotter to be. Again, we spoke about it last week, so I'm not going to get into it in terms of if one's good and one isn't. But they're 2 different players. I think Sanchez is a bit more nippy. I think he's a bit quicker. I'm trying to think. He's just got a little bit, something more about him. He looks a little bit more deceptive, I guess, and Hotter was a bit predictable. So
you've definitely bitten. You've bitten on that hard.
Yeah. Was you doing something?
No, I mean, people comparing him to Hotter, that gets you every week.
I don't get it. I don't ever understand it. Like, they're 2 different players. Like, they come inside on the left, which is the only comparison I can draw. Other than that, and they're Spanish. Other than that, they're both 2 completely different players. It's like comparing Bella and Magoma to each other. Just because they're wingers doesn't mean they're the same type of winger. They do completely different things. Magoma was more inside and direct. Bella likes.
Where is he?
Magoma was supposed to be going to Wickham or Luton.
Yeah, he's supposed to go into Wickham for the last 6 months, I think.
Yeah,
it just hasn't happened.
Oh, poor guy. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, he is. He's top guy, man.
A little bit of positivity again, boys. I like to keep this positive vibe going at the moment, seeing as the whole world seems to be coming crashing down again. We still haven't conceded from open play. We're 3 games in.
Yeah, it's a good record, isn't it, Corey?
Yeah, like I say, I think we all realise the importance of having to get some, obviously, defensive players in over the summer. I think even the players we've got there, we've worked with, towards the end of the season, Colin Pedersen, they weren't there. They were filling their team sheet in. They basically weren't there. So I think it's been quite impressive. But I think there's still a lot more work to go. While we've faced some good sides at the moment, I still think we need to work on set pieces. We know how bad it was last season. While we've improved, we still need to focus on.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great start. I think personally, we haven't conceded from open play. We conceded in the 88th minute last week, which is our first goal. We've conceded from a silly penalty, which Bella shouldn't have made that tackle from behind. Silly decision. But in the moment, in the heat of the moment, it happens. He's trying to win the ball and he makes a mistake. It happens. So, but, obviously taking that away and taking the fact that it was a penalty away, we don't concede many chances, do we really? And that is the most important thing. We spoke about how are the club going to progress from, we said at the end of the season, how are the club going to progress? How are we going to recover and regroup? And it was simple, start again and be hard to beat, even if it's dull for the first few weeks, months, whatever it might be, restart and go again and build from that point. And that's exactly what he's come in and done. And it's just pleased me to no avail. It just has been so refreshing for a manager to come in and have a set plan and to be disciplined. Yeah, it's great. And, it tinged a bit last week with some negativity from people saying, oh, we should be winning that. And, oh, that was dull. Yeah, it was a little bit dull, admittedly. It wasn't the greatest of spectacles. But for goodness sake, we were getting beaten 3-0 at home to teams like Huddersfield, and we were struggling against teams like Hull and Charlton last season. And now you're moaning, and we haven't lost a game to start this season. Come on, guys. We're not children. Show some patience. Show a little bit of understanding. Yes, we have things to work on. We've got plenty of things to work on, but what team doesn't? But we're not losing games. And while we're not losing games, don't moan. Be constructive in your, in your opinions online, but don't be negative. There's a difference. You know what I mean? I just don't understand what people want from it. You know what I mean?
Do you know what it is though, James? I think what it is the expectation levels have gone up by 5-10, and that's all it is. I think, and that's where the negativity comes from, is that the expectations are a lot higher. Pep Clotet, while I was a big advocate of his work last season, partly, Karanka brings in a different level. The expectations, and he's getting paid for that. The players he's brought in are getting paid for that. So, like you say, I think negativity is a bit undue at the moment, but like you say, the expectations are high this season. Like you say, we've done well so far, but we really need to push on.
Yeah, you're right. The expectations have risen, and with that comes an expectancy to maybe have done better against Rotherham, which we all expected to do.
I think it's because they recently got promoted, though.
Yeah.
And every time, well, not every time, but a lot of times we play teams that have been recently promoted, you expect to win unless they've stormed League One and been really strong, and you expect them to come up and almost be a challenging side. We don't really expect that from teams like Rotherham. So you do go into games, especially seeing as you just recently signed Scott Hogan. You've got players like Ivan Sanchez who's come in and done really well already in the Championship. Adam Clayton, we've solidified our team. You do expect to at least get some sort of positive result from a game like Rotherham. I think we are, as fans, more disappointed at a draw against Rotherham than we would have been if we had lost against Swansea.
Yeah.
Because of the quality, no offence, quality of the teams that we were playing against. And I think we all expected 3 points, and that's where the negativity is coming from, is our expectation.
But
different for each team.
Yeah, I completely agree. It does vary, and the manager's changed that. But at the same time, we have to be always understanding where we've come from in a short space of time. We've not had a proper pre-season still. So I've still
Yeah,
seen
but no,
some...
neither's anyone else. So you can't use that as an excuse.
No, but you can also...
There's no excuses.
Hold. Let me finish. What
That's
you've
a
got to
crap
understand
point.
is... No, it's not, because Rotherham have played under Paul Warne for how long? Years. 4 or 5 years. They know the
Yeah.
system. A lot of the players were there last year. They know the system. They know the way they play. They're all on the same page because they've been there for so long and they've been in that system. Karanka has only just come in to implement a sinking ship to change a sinking ship from last season. It's going to take time. We haven't had a full pre-season to implement his style, his philosophy, to get everything in place. We're still bringing in players, for Christ's sake, now, after the season started.
Kane Jackson, incoming.
Stop it. No Corey bombs today. My point is that, give it time. You're probably not going to see the real Karanka team, the best of it, for 6 months, I would say, probably.
I still think you're missing the point. I don't think the point is that we're disappointed with Karanka's team. I think we're disappointed in getting and nearly losing to a side who recently got promoted and are a bit of a yo-yo team. I think that is the disappointment, not what we've got from the team, not who we're playing, but who we're playing like physically, the actual team we've got. It's because they recently got promoted. That's why people are disappointed.
I understand that. But again, like Harley Dean said in his after-match interview, last season, we'd have lost that game. And he's right. Again, it's where we've come from. In a short space of time, we would have lost that game because we lost the teams that went down and we lost to teams who were in and around us. We'd have lost that game last season. So what it is it's just, let's be, calm, and this is going to be a gradual process. We're not going to beat every team, but we didn't lose. That was important. And that spirit to then come back and to salvage something from that game after we were losing was the most important thing for me.
Yeah, but you can't criticise people for being disappointed.
No, but let's be constructive, not negative. That's my point.
Yeah,
let's be constructive about it.
But
go on, Emily.
Yeah. No, you go, because I'll just keep repeating the same point.
I was just saying, like you say, I think while it was a negative result, let's say, there are positives, like you say, and there are more positive than negatives. We've literally got the Van Dijk of the Championship, George Friends. He's made Harley Dean from a £2 million defender to a £10 million defender.
Upgrade.
Upgrade, but we've got an early upgrade on Harley Dean. I think, like you say, he's improved the whole back four. He's been a really valuable asset, and we're going for free, which is better.
I agree. I think he's really raised the standard of the team. And yes, Middlesbrough fans said that his legs had gone, but you just shift him to a different position and use his talent and his quality, and look what we've got now. And yeah, like you say, Mark Roberts was probably one of our best players last season when he was in the team with Jake Clark-Salter. Both of them, obviously Jake isn't here anymore, and Mark's on the bench because he just can't get in because Friend has raised Dean to that level. But do you remember the season when Dean was with Morrison? He played so much better. So maybe it's the partnership of Dean with a stronger, more, I can't think of the word, imposing centre-back. Maybe that's when Dean works better, because Mark isn't really an imposing centre-back. He's a bit more, not tricky, but he's a different kind. So I think when Dean... Yeah, he is. When Dean plays with Friend, we've got two solid centre-backs. So that is a positive.
Absolutely.
Cool. So let's quickly talk about transfer roundup. If you've been living under a rock like me the last week, you'll not have known that Gary Gardner is a rumoured target for Bournemouth. When did that come about?
It's a very light rumour, isn't it, James? It's a very light rumour. Has it got further? I'm not sure.
No, I don't. I think I think it's as far as he's a target, and they were looking at exploring a deal to take him to Bournemouth. Someone said about £1 million or something like that. I don't know. And Karanka said in his pre-match press conference today that he's just laughed it off and said, "Nah, no chance. He's not going anywhere. He's part of my plans," which, I think he's a very good Championship midfielder, personally, for me, Gary Gardner. Hence why Bournemouth would want him. I think he's good at this level. But yeah, £1 million would have been a laughable offer. I think anything above 3 for Gardner, and you kind of talk in the realms of okay. But I think he's in this prime, 28. I think we'd be silly to let him go. We need that quality and depth. We've got San Jose as well. We've got a midfield 4 of obviously Sunjic, Clayton, San Jose and Gardner. There's 4 quality players there that any of them could play, and any of them could play in important games. You wouldn't mind picking any of them, would you really? So to let one of them go would be silly. Like I say, Davis and Kiftembeld, I think, are the 2 that they'll look to shift out at some point. I think he's actually quite keen to get McEachran back as well. And utilise him. You're speaking about that today.
Yeah.
He's a strange one, really. I'm not sure where he fits into the plans. Like I say, like I say, I mean, we all know the potential. Apparently, he was going to Real Madrid 7 years ago from Chelsea, but that never worked out. I think since then he hasn't done too well. But like I say, every game he's played for Blues that were very little, he hasn't done too bad. But I'm not seeing anything promising enough to, let's say, push one of the other midfielders out of the squad at the moment.
Well, I watched him. What was it, that game? He played Reading away, where we won 3-2, and he played that game, and he honestly ran the show that day. He honestly was our best player.
He
absolutely ran it. And you saw what McEachran could do, was a midfielder that could just dictate play and make things happen, and really honestly, he was a Premier League midfielder that day. He was fantastic. The problem is, like you say, he's incredibly injury prone. Hence why Brentford didn't keep him, was he just kept getting injured. Admittedly, this is the worst injury that you could get, is a cruciate in his knee, which...
Did you know?
Shut up. No, do not do it. I am not doing this today. My knee's been hurting this week because of the cold weather. So it's upset me. But no, this is what I live with. You know, someone that laughs at my misfortune.
Don't worry, James. Don't worry.
I'm going to go and sort myself dinner after this. I'm sorting myself dinner after this podcast, and she's not having anything. She can walk to the shop. So
that's fine. I've got legs.
I've got legs. But yeah, no, he's
Drake bomb.
He's a player that I don't know where. To be honest, like you said, I don't know where he's going to fit in personally. We've got 4 good midfielders, but I would like to see him back out of interest, see how he could play.
Do you think that they'd play him in a more attacking role? E.g., they may stick him on the wing at some point. Because I'd quite like to see that happen.
No.
I actually would, because he's quite quick.
God, no, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Menan's got more pace.
He's got a bit of acceleration, but he's got stamina.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's like me as a footballer. Once I got going, I was quite fast, but it took me a while to get going.
I think for Crowley, I think the one thing is as well that he's going to need a few midfielders. We know Ivan likes a yellow card. We know Clayton likes a yellow card. And I'm guessing San Jose likes a yellow card.
Yes, he does.
So we're going to need a bit of rotation due to suspensions.
I think Sunjic is already on 2 yellow cards, isn't he, after 3?
Oh, of course, yeah.
Just the bloke loves the yellow card.
Yeah, he's trying to top the tables this season with yellow cards, I think.
And when you got players like
really
Clayton trying to pull the pants down of Brentford's players in the first week.
He grabbed his leg.
He's trying to do everything to him. He's trying to take all his clothes off him in the first game. He's obviously going to get bookings throughout the season if he's doing stuff like that. So
marking his territory, isn't he?
Yeah, of course.
Right, I'm coming in, playing my first game for this club. Don't mess with me.
But no, you're right. We're going to need that. Again, that's that depth in it. We're going to need that throughout the season. So, yeah.
And talking of depth, we are weak still-ish in a few areas. Do you think that we need to bring in anyone else before the window closes?
I'll let Corey answer that one first.
We all know what's coming from Corey.
Yeah. No, I've given up on the Kane Jackson. My source tell me it's not happening now.
Your source is HP.
Yeah. Well, my sources are telling me it's not in there. No, but in all seriousness, I don't think we'll go for anyone else. Like I said, I know a lot of other clubs are looking for players. I don't think we'll find anyone on a free. What, we've got less than a week to go now. The window closes.
Not long.
I think if an offer comes up, maybe a loan deal from Premier League. Again, there's not really strikes from a Premier League club we could take. So yeah, I think for me, business is done. Shut Dong's checkbook, and let's see how it goes on. But I still think we're missing a few players.
I will throw one in there and say, well, we were all saying that we needed a centre back, and I think that's been quashed with San Jose coming in, because I think obviously he plays centre mid, but he's also played centre back. So he can offer that fourth potential choice centre-back / central midfielder. So he covers two positions. So I don't think we need a centre-back nor a centre midfielder. I think all the full-back positions. Left-back now, we've loaned Sednau last week. That was a strange one. But again, George Friend can cover there as well if he needs to.
Well, I was thinking, if Pedersen gets injured, and say we shifted Max again, we haven't got anyone to cover on the right.
Cogley.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about him.
He would put
every week. I see his name on the team sheet and go, "Oh yeah."
And to Medina as well. And that's probably why he's keeping Medina.
Stop it with Medina. Stop it with
Medina. No. Medina.
Oh,
honestly, Medina will have more appearances than Crowley this season.
Probably. Oh, there we are.
He'll have more starts. Let's put a bet on this, James. Medina's going to have more starts than Crowley this season. £10 on it. Let's have it.
Do you know what? I've just had a thought. Right, dangerous. I know. Careful. Do Blues have enough centre midfielders to make up an 11? I think we do.
Yeah,
you got Sunjic, Gardner, Kiftenbeld, Davis, Clayton, San Jose, Medina, Boyd Muntz. That's 9. Sturck's still at the club, 10. I'm talking about McEachran 10, sorry.
I'm trying to think. Play Sturck.
To be fair, Colin has played midfield before.
I'm trying to think of players that have
midfield. So
Toral can also drop in as a central midfielder.
Yeah.
So Maxime Collan and Toral can drop in there.
Yeah, you've got enough.
So we've got 12.
Exactly. So we're stacked with midfielders, basically.
Got 13.
Yeah, but Stoke's not made a first-team appearance, has he? So.
No, but he can still play there. He's still at the club. You didn't say whether he played there or not.
I'm talking players that have played, though, you know what I mean? Like first-team appearances.
Isn't he under 23s captain for Wales, though?
He does play for the Welsh international under 23s. Good player, Stoke.
I've never met him, but I know you have. So, big up Ryan Stoke.
But yeah, where was I? Yeah, so I don't think we need a centre-back. Left-back, arguably, but Friend can go there. So I think the 1/2 positions that's left is a wide player / striker. I can see them trying to make a late loan deal for a player that can cover both positions in one. Does that make sense? So like what Kane Jackson would have bought.
We've got Lecco though.
Yes, we've got Lecco.
Yeah.
But if you look to the bench, even if we had Lecco on the bench, we would only really have Lecco and like Jukovic as attacking players. Do you know what I mean? Like those strikers, wingers, those.
Hang on.
Go on.
Did you just say Duke on the bench?
Or Hogan, depending on which one he puts on the bench. So he's got one striker and one winger. I think he needs one more player that could cover those two positions, like another Lecco. I can see him making a loan. And that's maybe why the Jack Clark deal didn't go through, because maybe they've seen someone else and maybe they'll utilise it elsewhere.
I'm glad that didn't go through. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I must admit, it wasn't. I think everyone was kind of like, we'll take him. You know, basically, Jack Clark is one of those players. You know, when you go to the supermarket and those like items next to the checkout, that's what Jack Clark was. We were just going through the checkout, and Jack Clark was like, he was there. He was like, oh, well, if he's cheap enough, we'll have him. You know what I mean? But I don't really need him. That's what Jack Clark was. Do you know what I mean?
Like at Aldi, when you got all the stuff along the till, you go, right, that looks like I'll have that.
I'll tell you
That's
what
Jack Clark was.
Jack Clark
what an analogy.
he was the reduced section. So, you buy
Oh, no,
it.
that's a bit harsh.
No. You buy it, right? And you buy it for the sake because it's 50% off, but you never end up eating it and it sits in the fridge and you have to throw it out. So that's what he would have been. We'd have just sent it back in January.
But the reduction's like a big sign on it. With the stuff by the checkout, that's just sitting there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sitting there for 6 months. That's what Jack Clark was. No offense to Jack Clark, if you're watching this.
Seems like a nice kid, but
yeah, I don't upset him, but
he's not really kicked on, has he? He's not. If we're serious about becoming better, then we want someone that's going to be better than what we've got.
Yeah, I think he's probably FGR standard. I wouldn't want him in blue.
That's incredibly harsh. I think he's championship standard, but
I haven't heard anything. No offense to him, I feel really bad. I haven't heard many good things about him though. From all the people I've spoken to, it's all been
You spoke to Simon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Simon's our friend. People won't know that reference. Simon's our friend at QPR. Yeah. No, he didn't have a good report for him, and neither did a lot of Leeds fans either. So, meh. But like I say, I still think they'll look at a late loan because they said they'll be looking up until the very last minute of the window to see if anything comes up. I still think the fact that we were close to signing Jack Clark proves that they would be more than open. If not, they are looking to bring someone else in. So I think they'll bring one more player in for that sort of depth. Because if you look, we've pretty much got two in most positions. But in wide positions, we've only got Lecco, Bella, and Sanchez. Don't class Crowley as a wide player because he's just not a wide player. And neither's Toral. Neither of them should touch the wide positions. If they do,
see that. If Crowley's going to get if Crowley's going to get an appearance, it's going to be on that right hand side. I think you might find that he actually might whack him on that right side as cover for Saturn.
I agree.
Maybe that's why Jack Clark didn't go through. Maybe he does see Crowley as a right winger or cover in that position. He wasn't great there last season, but he isn't terrible. It's an option.
I completely agree. I think he looked quite hot on the right actually last season at times. So I think he's definitely someone that we could rotate in that position with and rotate him being a number 10 as well. I think that's the one positive. Well, there's lots of positives. The main positive about Crowley is that he is a bit more flexible in that sense. He's not a very rigid player. You can play him on the right. You can play him in the middle. If you really wanted to, you could play him off the striker. He is quite versatile in that sense. So as much as it may have sounded like I picked on him a lot earlier on in the programme, he's actually very versatile. So
the only problem Emily is that he becomes the next Marabity, and that's what he doesn't want. And that's the only concern for him is that you end up being that position where you're just a utility player and you just plug a hole
on Kerim, the Swedish prince.
I thought he was good.
Yeah,
I actually did like Marabity.
Yeah. I just think he didn't get a constant run in the team. Obviously, he went missing for 10 weeks. Guess where Marabity is? Guess who?
Where's Marabity?
I still want to know what happened with that.
Do you know obviously in regards to the recruits, do you think Karanka has some ideas about some of the academy prospects maybe plugging holes?
Yeah.
If we don't get some targeting one, like I say, we saw some of them pre-season. A few shone out, but there weren't too many. What do you think about that, guys?
I think he tested the water. I think he's keen to use the academy where he can. He's already shown, G Cox played. Bajrami is one that he's almost ready to step in. And again, we could say that as that fourth centre back, Baj can always come in as well if need be. I think he's a very talented player that just needed a bit of first team time elsewhere. But if he doesn't get that, he can come in. Odin, he's used regularly, and I think will still be used throughout the season in where he can. But I think in terms of wide and attacking players, he's used sort of Amari Miller, who's only sort of 17, 18. He's a graduate of the scholarship scheme. I don't think he's ready. We've seen that. He's got talent, but very raw. Jaden Reed's not ready either. And the same goes for, his name slips me, who else played up front? George, yeah. He's a very talented young man. All three of them look like they've got plenty of ability, but I'd like to see a couple of loans for them, or another season to develop and then come into the fray. There's some players that will come in and potentially make their mark from the academy. But if you're producing 1 or 2 out of the academy every year, that means you've got a very good academy system. So if we can produce
definitely.
1 or 2 this season that come through, then that's a success in my eyes for the academy again.
Definitely. There's obviously one player, like Fernandez. I think his deal runs out in the next 6 months or so.
Yeah.
Again, it might be make or break for him at his career at Blues. And obviously solved the new recruit.
Sold a DVD.
Yeah, I think he played under 23s this week.
Yes.
Like you say, we might see glimpses of him.
Yeah, I didn't actually catch the game against Telford, but he got some good reviews. But I've heard Fernandez had a glistening review from Tuesday night's game against Telford in the 23s game. I heard
It's
he
just
shone.
a matter of time for him.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. He looks a real talent. But for some reason, he doesn't really get a shot at all in the first team, which is rather surprising. We'll wait and see. But I think in terms of an attacking option, like I say, I think if we're going to plug it, it's going to be plugged with a loan. And I think after that, we'll be done.
James, I'm going to push you for a club or a league you think the loan might come from?
Probably the Prem. I don't think we'll go abroad. I don't think we'll go.
I'll throw a curveball in.
No, you asked. I actually don't have. There is no name. There is no one linked.
No. Okay.
I'm just thinking, out of a gut instinct, they might try and sort of lure a young, attacking, exciting player. I would have liked Ademola Lookman, but he went to Fulham on loan, I think.
Yes.
It's someone I would have looked at, but he went to Fulham. That ilk of player, someone that's very quick, direct, could probably play both positions, up front and wide. So it plugs 2 gaps.
We get someone from Liga.
I wouldn't be disappointed if the window closed and we didn't have anyone, but I do think we need it, personally. Just my personal opinion. But
I was thinking about Sandro for Everton.
Oh God,
he's a Spanish international. He never really hit the ground running at Everton, but I'm not sure he's a free agent now.
Not being funny, I do not want anyone from Everton after Liam Walsh.
Oh yeah, that was very unsuccessful. That was not very successful. But no, like you say, I think it's a hard one, isn't it? There's not that many options floating around, and every club's in the same position.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's going to be fighting for those young, exciting players. So we'll wait and see. I think the club will try, whether they get it or not. Different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Let's look forward to this weekend's fixture against Stoke. I was waiting for that before I moved on. So we're playing Stoke.
Aye.
It's on Sunday, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I missed that.
Blew my mind a bit.
Yeah.
Because, I don't like games on Sundays very much. Saturdays for football.
I think that game was due to be on Sky and they moved the game off Sky but kept it on Sunday.
Why would they move it off Sky? What for?
They probably picked a Premier League game, I think, which they did.
Oh, yeah, but did you know there's football outside the Premier League?
No, Sky don't know that. But I think our game for Norwich after the international break on the Tuesday night's been picked for Sky, hasn't it? So there is that one. Which basically
that's only because it's Norwich. It's not because it's us.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They've only picked it because it's Norwich, but there you go. But yeah, Sunday slipped me that one.
Sorry, I'm getting really aggy. I just don't like that there's not an equal playing field on Sky. It's how it should be, but it's not. So
Definitely.
We're playing Stoke. San Jose, could he potentially feature, do you think?
Yeah, I think he could be an option on the bench on Sunday. I was about to say Saturday. It almost got me. Yeah, reading between the lines of the press conference, obviously he's saying that he's trained all week with the first team and he looks good. I think he'll be on the bench. But who drops off the bench is the question. Probably Medina, if I'm going to be honest. Don't stop being so disappointed.
Medina has got potential.
I actually like him.
That Warsaw friendly changed my mind of Medina. He's got it all. I think it's a hard one for San Jose. I think Crank's been quite bold actually with decisions on pulling people out of the squad, bringing them in. I think he might start on Sunday. Not Saturday. And I think you might take Clayton out. Like you say, he had a very little pre-season. I know he joined Blues later in that pre-season. He might pull Clayton out for that game. And obviously, he's worked with Clayton before. Clayton isn't going to be crying in the change room that he's pulled out for one game.
Corey, we haven't heard too much about your opinions on Stoke on the channel, really.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about Stoke?
Previous co-hosts did not have a good thing to say about Stoke at all, as a place and as a club.
Yeah, it's just pretty cold, isn't it, Stoke? It's not, like you say, it's not the greatest place in the world. And I haven't really got any issue with Stoke. I think they're just boring. Just a boring club. Just Stoke, aren't they, really? So, yeah, my opinions are quite tame. I'm sorry to disappoint.
They've got a really good podcast called Wizards of Drivel.
Yeah, even I listened to it, and I
Wizards of Drivel.
It's
a Stoke podcast. I think I was on it like 2 seasons ago. They had me on. They're actually really nice guys, and they're actually really funny. So give it a listen.
I'm not mad on football podcasts. Like, I don't listen to a lot of them because I think a lot of them are quite dull and boring and monotone.
Thanks, Em.
But they're actually really funny. Sorry, it's true. I like listening to funny ones because they've got a bit of substance.
Corey's funny.
I'll give them a listen.
No, they're all right.
Hopefully they've done a preview for this weekend. But no, like I say, I think Stoke a hard one. Obviously, they made some new recruits this summer. They've got Jon Toral, haven't they?
They brought in Jon Toral.
Yeah, I was so surprised I saw that. I actually thought he retired. I didn't actually know he was still playing. I didn't even know it was like a player-coach role or...
Do you know what?
Like, he was like a chairman.
I was going to say, considering Blues have been criticised for bringing in like so many older players, has anybody seen Stoke's recruitment?
Oh, yeah.
I was going to Google it quickly.
I'm still digesting that. John Obi Mikel.
Yeah, Jon Toral. I generally thought he was going as like a chairman or like a technical director. I didn't expect to be on the pitch.
How old is he?
He's got to be 35.
40?
So they've signed Jacob Brown from Barnsley, who's 22. He is someone I actually really wanted.
He's decent. I like him.
Morgan Fox from Sheffield Wednesday on a free.
Didn't get that one.
Okay, decent standard left back. James Chester, 31 from Villa. Stephen Fletcher, 33 from Sheffield Wednesday.
No, that is a good one. He's a very good champion.
Yeah, he still got it.
John Obi Mikel, 33, free transfer.
He's not 33.
No, he's not 33.
He is 33.
He's not 33.
Not a
I'm
chance.
that right
He's
now.
33, guys.
Not 33. He's been playing for like 30 years.
I think that's all of them as well. I think
He's
they've signed.
33. Corey, he was born in 87.
No, that's all lies.
Oh, why would I lie to you? So
Don't
they've signed a load of players over the age of 31, basically. But yeah, we're getting battered for signing players that are like 30 and 31. But
yeah,
no one's battering Stoke for it.
Exactly.
Experience, isn't it?
I'm so shocked.
Oh, grow up.
I can't believe it. He was playing for Chelsea when he was 19.
That shocks me more than the fact that he's 33. But
he looks so much older. No offense.
Terrible. But they've started the season well, haven't they, Stoke?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think where they were in the league. They are actually they've started okay. They've won 1, drew 1, and lost 1. Start of the season.
Pretty average.
Which is a fairly standard. They did win at the weekend though, away at Preston, which is a really good result. They also lost at home 2-0 to Bristol City, and they drew away 0-0 to Millwall on the opening day. And here's some good news. As of the time of recording, it is half-time at Villa Park. Aston Villa 0, Stoke City 1.
Hey!
So there we go.
On note of Bristol City, Emily, me and you actually slated James a week or 2 ago for saying Bristol City had actually a better squad than us. And I think they're sitting top of the league. I apologise to James.
I'll tell you what, Corey,
yeah, he has been 3 games.
You'd have thought by now that you would stop people. Like, Emily's been with me almost 4 years, and she's still not learned to not doubt me when I say things.
I can't keep my big mouth shut though. That's the
I
thing.
know.
But how often
You
am I
prove me
wrong?
wrong, James.
How often am I wrong again? The one that has thrown me is Reading. I didn't expect Reading to be doing so well. They're second.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you've got to remember, it's still been only 3 games.
Have they played anyone significant yet?
Yeah,
Reading?
they beat Derby away.
Mid-table.
They beat Cardiff away.
Mid-table.
What
Low
you
Blues.
Cardiff were playoffs last year, and Derby were.
Yeah,
well,
I mean this season.
Okay, no, I think Cardiff are still pushing for playoffs, and they beat
And
Barnsley
again,
2-0.
Preston. Preston will have a poor season as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Definitely. Should we talk about lineups going into this one? I think the first one is he going to go back to one up front? I think the obvious answer should be yes.
Yeah.
I just
He's
can't
got
stop
to.
thinking about John Obi Mikel.
Stop it. Terrible. Stop it. You know he's going to score now you've done that.
I know.
Yeah,
that's the worst thing. He's going to get like a hat trick or something. And I'm going to be sat there like,
John Obi
oh
Mikel
my
gets a
God.
hat trick. I will eat my underpants live on the podcast next week.
I hope Joey Mikel wins man of the match, and in his press conference, he actually states this podcast as the reason why he performed well.
Oh yeah.
Emily Drakeford, you fraud.
For everyone doubting his age.
But
what do you think, James, formation-wise?
you want me to go first this week?
Yeah, you can go first this week.
Oh, he's got to go back to one up front, hasn't he? I can understand the experiment with 2 up front last week. While I didn't agree, I understood it. He's got it to. We're going to be away from home. He's going to go back to a safe, solid 4-2-3-1. I think in terms of a lineup, he's going to go. The back 5 doesn't change again. Oh, there's a cat there. Hello, cat.
Sorry.
The cat. I'm just going to allow the cat to walk past. There we go. He's going to go with Etheridge in goal. He's going to go with Collan, Dean, Friend, Pedersen. Midfield 2. I think he might go with Sunjic and Gardner.
Oh.
And he'll have Clayton and San Jose on the bench. I think then in attacking 3, he'll go with Toral, Sanchez and Bella. And I think he'll go Juki up front for this one.
No, Crowley, James.
Crowley on the bench, Hogan on the bench.
He's been replaced by Toral now.
Yeah.
I love Crowley, and I still do, but Toral is like there's Bay and then there's Bay, and Terrell's been my OG Bay. So for all the you
look at his face. Look at his face when he talks about
He
it.
loves it. He loves it.
That's Toral. That was what he used to do 5 years ago, and he can have it again.
Yeah, so my lineup for this week is going to be Colin at right back, obviously Van Dijk and Dean at centre back, and then obviously Pedersen at left back, Average in goal.
You know about the Danish Roberto Carlos, the left back.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. And then in midfield, I'm actually going to change from what I said earlier. I think it might be Clayton and San Jose. I think all it is that Cranker trusts Clayton. So probably more than he does Sunjic. So he might see a bit of a change, put to the old guards in midfield. And then we're going to go for, I think, Sanchez on the right. Of course, Jon Toral off on the left, Bella. And then I'm going to say Scott Hogan up front. I mean, he's just trying to see, obviously last week we didn't see much of his ability. He didn't have many touches on the ball, but I think he might give him a second opportunity by himself this week.
Yeah.
I think the only changes I would make to Corey's team is I would have, I think it's the same as James's actually, San Jose and Sunjic. No, hang on. So we've all had different midfields.
Yeah.
I went with Sunjic and Gardner.
I just realised as soon as I said it. I would go with exactly the same team as Corey, which is probably the same as you. I can't remember.
No, I had Juki up front. Corey had Hogan up front.
Okay. So I'm putting Bay on the bench and deciding to have Hogan up front. And I'm going to have San Jose and Sunjic in midfield.
Good job.
It's a tricky, like I say, he's got those options now, which is great. I still think he needs a couple more options to freshen it up in terms of wide and attacking positions. Because like I say, you can mix it up with anyone in midfield. Number 10, he could go with anyone. He's got one of 3, if you can include Odin. Centre backs, he's got plenty. Goalkeepers, he's got loads. But you then look at those attacking players, and we're just putting sort of same sort of wide players in. You might vary it up with Hogan or Juki. We still got Lecco to come back, like you say, but still think he needs that one more. Just to.
I think with the attacking options, what you'll find is whichever group of attacking players click first, will stay for the season. I mean, that's kind of how it's going to work. I think if they start underperforming, he will replace them. I think that's how it's going to work. And I'll say that's where I think Juki might become unlucky. We've seen his effort, as always, 120%, and he's been dying for a goal. But like you say, I think it will be whoever performs first will stay the majority of the season.
I think so. I wonder whether it will be Hogan who'll be off the mark quicker than Duke.
I've got a feeling, yeah.
Look, as long as both of them hit 13 plus goals this season, then I love them both, and that's it.
Yeah.
They're both great players, but they're just both, again, just 2 different players with 2 different styles and 2 different sets of attributes that they can bring to the spearhead of the team, and it's how we utilise them and in what game. I just felt that Juki might have had more luck in this one, but that's it.
We'll see.
That's
I think it's nice to know if it comes to, like I said, last 20 minutes, we can throw Juki on or Hogan. It's going to work, and there's got a possibility it'll work. Last season, we were throwing Montero on.
You hate Montero? You absolutely
I
hate
do.
him.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, but to be fair, who likes Montero after last season?
Seems like a nice guy.
It was either like, let's throw Montero or let's whack Wes Harding on. You know what I mean? It was like, what we're going to go for? We go for a back 5 and let Wes Harding go down the right, or we'll let Montero sit in the left-hand corner.
The more you think,
I'll never get over the back 6.
The more you think about it, though, the more you got a feel for the manager when he was left with the squad he had after lockdown. It was bad. Yeah. It was bad. Like, it was a bad team.
I think that's the negativity comes from last season. You actually look back at the squad we had. It was terrible. I feel sorry for Pep Patet. I feel sorry for Craig Gardner. The coming afterwards. I feel sorry for all the staff. The squad was poor last season. Look at the options we've got now. Yeah. We've actually got a squad that's actually got valuable assets in there, and that's something important that we could acknowledge. We've got players who actually have sell-on value, and I think we'll look to replace before we were just buying journeymen, which is fresh to see. I know we've brought some older players, but it's still nice to see we've got some real gems in there.
Absolutely, completely agree.
Should we do score predictions?
Go on then.
I'm dreading this because we all predicted a win last week.
Yeah.
Look how that one turned out. No, I'm joking.
It was a formation though. It was a 4-4-2.
It was. It really was actually, wasn't it?
Killed us, do you know what I mean?
I'm going to be saying I would take a draw from this.
What, 1-1?
I'd just take a draw. Another point, if we look at it this way, right? Think to before we kick the ball. Hundreds of years ago, I know I'm joking. If you'd have said to someone, right, you'll get 6 points from Stoke away, Brentford at home, Swansea away, Rotherham at home, you'd have said yes, wouldn't you? 6 points from them. After the way we ended last season, you'd have bit someone's hand off for that. Yes, you would. Emily Drakeley, don't give her that look. So,
excuse me.
So, I'm just saying I would take a draw. So I'm going to go with 1-1.
What do you think, Emily?
0-0.
Oh, it's negativity's come from you two here. What are these predictions?
That's not negative. It's pessimism.
It's safe. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 win.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to go to
Optimistic.
Stoke then. I was like,
no. We're still going to be unbeaten.
It is allowed. Right? We're going to lose. You're allowed to pick it.
Oh, no. We'll be unbeaten the rest of the season. With Medina and right back or centre mid or left back, there's unlimited possibilities. But no, I think let's see how this one goes, and let's see 5-10 games time. It's hard. The predictions are quite hard to make at the moment. You don't know what the other sides are like. But I think 2-1. Because as we know, Joe Mikel's 33 years old. I'm still going to say 2-1.
I'm so confused by that.
Definitely. Okay, guys. So that just about does it for this week's episode of the BFTV Show, sponsored by All Sports, of course. Thank you so much to our sponsors for their continued support for another season, which I don't think we really talked about, did we? We might have done. I'm not too sure. But it's great to have them on board
Can't remember.
for another season. So thank you to them. If you haven't already, go and follow us on social media. We are on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, probably somewhere else as well. You'll find us everywhere. Corey is the man for that. He's the man.
Been working on it. We've been a bit slack at the moment, guys, but it's going to get back up to scratch soon. Don't worry about that.
So,
Well, I think everyone appreciates life is hard, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're all working humans.
Definitely.
So bear with us.
But let us know your thoughts down in the comments as ever. Thank you so much for your contributions.
Contribution.
It's Thursday and it's been a long week for me. All right. So for your contributions, as ever, in the comments, we do read them all. We do see them all. And some fantastic suggestions every week from yourselves. So don't forget to comment and leave your score predictions and lineups down below, guys. But that just about does it. So keep right on from us all.
Keep right on.
Keep right on, guys. And one last thing, if I'm not here next week, I will be working on the Caden Jackson announcement video. So if I'm here next week, then the deal's off. But if I'm not here, then the deal's back on. Okay?
This is the reason I can't wait for the transfer market to close.